for Josh Fox, and that is, what would you change about this film if you were to recut, reshoot, added footage? What would you change about this film if you had the opportunity to do so today?
I wouldn't change anything at all. No. Nothing substantial, no. Thank you. The truth is, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Maybe a little more banjo. we just a little, you know, we did ask banjo players from the natural gas industry to come in tonight. And they wouldn't come. They wouldn't even send a fiddle player or anyone. And I did bring it in case of emergency. So if we get unruly, things might happen. But I'm absolutely amazed at what's happened with this film. An incredible amount of attention. I feel like this happened at a very key moment when there were millions of people in the target zone of the drilling industry. And that the reason why it's, I mean, the film has been seen by 40 million people in something like 30 countries around the world. It's amazing. And when the science went to Dimock, the DEP of Pennsylvania showed that those Cabot gas and oil wells polluted their water, and the EPA showed just recently that their water is flammable, and it showed that there's methane in the water, so the science supported the investigative journalism on the ground. Your first level of scientific data is what people are saying. People saying things is science. It's the beginning. So when in Pavilion, Wyoming, I got there 2 weeks after the EPA started their testing program. 3 years later, they showed 50 times the level of benzene in the groundwater. The cowboys in Pavilion were right. The gas industry and the state government of Wyoming were wrong. Everywhere the film went, the science followed, and as it turned out, the people on the ground, who I was simply reporting and trying to bring to focus, were correct. And this has happened time and time and time again, in spite of what the gas industry will tell you. You know, when I was driving here, I passed by a billboard that said Burning Springs started, it was a town name in 1689. And it was a blatant attack on Gasland and on the idea that natural gas causes water to be flammable. Okay, but there are very few towns named Benzene Springs or Formaldehyde Lake.
Give it time, Josh. Give it time.
Or Glutaraldehyde Falls. We don't have those, but these are the things that we have.
Three-legged dog springs.
So I wouldn't change anything in the movie. It did pretty well.
I like Kate Hudson. For those of you who
she works for the gas industry.
I was going to say, for those of you who are budding filmmakers and documentary filmmakers, I want all this to be inspirational for you. There are actually women in the audience who are moaning in ecstasy over the content of this film. It works on many levels. It's a good film. It's a good film. It's a good film. I want Kate Hudson to talk, if she would please, about what she believes the relationship is between hydraulic fracturing and overall energy policy in this country.
There is an attempt. Unfortunately, our president seems to believe this right now, to describe using our gas resources as a way to get energy independence so that we do not have to depend on foreign oil. Unfortunately, that's not what the gas companies have in mind. The gas companies, with gas selling at $2 a unit in this country and costing $4 to $6 to get it out of the ground, are looking to export the gas that they get here. And that export is going to go through as liquefied natural gas through terminals that already exist that were licensed to be import facilities in the 80s when we thought we were running out of gas. And now they all have applied to convert themselves to export. And so we are now going to become the third world petronation that so many nations have been, South America, Africa, where their resources have been extracted and given to Western countries. Those are now, the gas companies are going to trash our environment and take those resources and export them to other countries. And that's where the profits are going to go.
And talk about that, Josh Fox, about LNG and about what's going on.
I mean, I got a call recently from some friends of mine near Cooperstown who are farmers, and they said there's this pipeline that's called the Constitution Pipeline. It's the most Orwellian name, right? We're going to call it the Constitution. So you next is the Bill of Rights compressor station. And so they're freaking out because these pipelines, we know that they leak. I think they're trying to take the property by eminent domain to get easements for that pipeline. And what this is a pipeline that goes from central Pennsylvania, which is being completely decimated, across the southern tier, connects to the Millennium Pipeline, and what it's doing is taking gas to liquefied natural gas ports along the coast to put it in ships and sell it in Europe. Because here in the United States, gas is at $2 a unit. What's the unit, Tony? British thermal, 10 million British thermal units? Okay, a unit is $2.
Retail gas unit.
In America. In Europe, it goes for $12. In China, about 16. At the moment, okay? There's no economic way to drill for gas and sell it to America for $2. That is a total lie. So this whole idea of American energy independence, it's like clean burning natural gas. It's a slogan, it sounds good, it polls really well, but it's absolutely not true. The plan is that you are the new Peru. We shouldn't have done that to Peru, not we, they. These multinational corporations, in many cases not based in the United States. Schlumberger, the #1 fracking company in the world, Halliburton is #2, French company. Royal Dutch Shell, that's a Dutch company, I believe. Hess, all my good friends from Wayne County who leased to Hess, 80,000 acres. Those are transnational companies. Chesapeake, right? What is it, a third of Chesapeake owned by Chinese interests at this point? That's what's happening. It's a well-known model. It's the resource extraction and exploitation model. And ask anyone in those developing countries what the legacy was that the oil and gas industry left behind. What did they leave behind? Havoc and wreck and disease. And this is their business model. That is their business model. That has been the plan from the word go, because otherwise you wouldn't have had this long planning of these pipelines, the Constitution pipeline. So it's distressing. This is what's going on. Because the next argument is going to be, oh, well, look about our exports. Our export economy is going to be going up. But we've decimated what is the other way to go, the ability for us to have sustainable homes and sustainable lives and good places to live. You know, I mean, I got into this because I was seeking an outlet for banjo playing. But besides that, because they were going to completely destroy where I lived. And I knew it, because I saw the places that they'd been to before. And it was just, it became something that a lot of people realized. You know, you look at that map in Gasland, there's a map up like that for the whole world, and it's 30 countries. And if we drill and burn all that gas, we're in big trouble in terms of our world water resources, our democracies, and in terms of climate change. So there is something bigger at work here that is knocking on New York's door. And we have to pay attention, because there's a history to this.
You mentioned climate change, and I'd like, because obviously when you talk about this issue, and we don't want to go off on a long tangent about climate change, but there is an inextricable link between the two, and I wanted Sandra to speak about that, about the relationship between hydraulic fracturing activity and climate change itself.